Welcome to another weekly YouTube Live where I'm doing American accent coaching for Brazilians who want an American accent, Brazilians who already speak English fairly well. Então, se você for brasileiro e quer um sotaque americano ou algo mais próximo disso, e você já fala inglês relativamente bem, então vem participar. Vou convidar algumas pessoas aqui ao vivo to join Zoom. Just move my backpack out of the way here. And yeah, today will be a little bit of a quicker live. I'll go ahead and drop the Zoom link here in the chat now. So yeah, if you're Brazilian, already speak English pretty well, and want an American accent or closer to it, go ahead and click that Zoom link, and you'll join the Zoom waiting room, and then I can admit you to join. We can go through some accent coaching live together, while the rest of the people here on the live or on the replay can listen to how I'm coaching you. Now we are an hour earlier than normal, so we'll see who all shows up today. That's because I got some family visiting, so I'm going to be spending the evening heading over to meet up with them pretty soon. So different time than normal. Usually we do this an hour from now at 4 p.m. Central instead of 3 p.m. Central. But yeah, starting next week we should be back to the normal 4 p.m. Central time. So while we're waiting for people to show up, I can talk through some stuff I've been helping clients with recently. Let me open something up for that. Let's do a bit of this. So, keen, kin, can, ken could be an interesting contrast to play with for getting some skill with vowel sounds. So on the left is kind of the roughly equivalent sounds from Brazilian Portuguese. On the right are words where we use those sounds in English, give or take. And this will help you practice those contrasts. So these are all the same frame, the same structure, where it's a K at the beginning, a K sound, and an N at the end. And all we're doing is changing the vowel sound that's in between those. So the spelling can vary. Whether it's written as a K or a C, it's still a K sound. And whether it's one vowel letter or multiple vowel letters or the same vowel letter in a way, but just used differently or a different number of times, it's still, what matters is the sounds. Asio, hey, hi, how's it going? If you want to join live, I posted the link. I don't know if you can see it. I can copy that again if needed. But since now Brazil and us and US are out, are you rooting for someone? Not really. Yeah, I don't know. I was rooting for Brazil. I don't know who to root for now. But yeah, I don't even know who's still left. I was just basically focused on Brazil. And yeah, I'll still watch some games, but I don't know. I'll have to get back up to date on that in a bit. But yeah, keen, kin, can, ken. In, an. Actually try it out loud and see if you can do it. That's the key. See if you can hear the difference, see if you can say the difference. And then that'll be a good way to start working on that. Another useful thing is this really common challenge for Brazilians, which is connecting an R and a dark L, and we get this Earl. And then if we want, we can add a consonant before that. We can come up with a bunch of different words. So for instance, no consonant, and we just do R and then the dark L, Earl. That is a name, Earl. If we put a B before it, B and then R and then L, and the spellings can vary, but in this case we could get Burl. I'm not even sure if that's a word, but it could be part of the name of a city, for example, like Burlington or Burley. as an adjective. Burl might be a word, I forget. But if you do a C, you could get curl. D, I don't think dural is a word, although maybe dural? Dural? I don't remember. Epidural. So, like you could build things related to this, but an F for sure, furl. A G, you get girl. We can go through the alphabet basically, or phonemes, different sounds, and you can come up with a bunch of words based on this same pattern. You could have pearl. You could have. Let me actually put these more of kind of. Let's use the screen real estate a little better. So girl, hurl, jurl, curl, we already have curl, JKL, lurl, merle, almost mural, but that has a hidden Y sound. Merle, I'm not so sure about. Merle, knurl, spelled differently, but that's how we say it, knurl. And then pearl. I don't need commas, I guess. Rural. I like to think, in the comments, Aseo said, I like to think of the tongue on RL words like a kayak. What do you mean by a kayak? What do you mean by that? And then the tip touching behind the teeth. Earl. I'm not sure what you mean by like a kayak. But feel free to explain. Let's see. Then S, I think surl might be a word actually from like some medical anatomical terms. Could be wrong. I might be mispronouncing it too. We could fact check that. Maybe I'll delete it since I'm not sure. Turl. We could get twirl if we add an extra, if we allow consonant clusters, multiple consonants. Verl, whirl, zurl, url, thurl, churl, shurl. Anyways, you get the idea of the exercise. We could also then sweep through consonants at the end. You get things like twirled or, there's a lot of possibilities. But the key thing I'm trying to bring to your awareness is just that you can take a chunk like R plus L or TH or R plus TH. Yeah, swirl, great example. And then you can start challenging yourself to get more bang for your buck, get a higher return on investment, start to see where does this same chunk show up across the language, across the words that you actually care about. Because there's probably a lot more than you initially realize. So whatever it is you're working on, start kind of spreading that across the language. So don't just think about the inventory, think about the distribution. Whatever the thing is, whatever the chunk is, look at how you can apply that. Where can you find that in the wild, across the dictionary, in the words that you're hearing and saying? Does that make sense? Let me pop that Zoom link in the chat again here. Copy invite link. So if you're Brazilian and you want American accent, I just put the link in the YouTube chat. Feel free to hop in there. Just join the Zoom if you want some feedback, some live coaching. And you'll join the waiting room and then I can admit you. So Asio said kayak. I actually meant canoe. Do you mean like the canoe, like the shape of your tongue reminds you of a canoe or a kayak or something like that? Maybe that's what you mean? Earl. I mean, ultimately, whatever works for you, awesome. I'm just trying to see if there's something here that transfers to other people in a clear way. Sometimes the way I'll teach R plus dark L is R is kind of like a caipira de porta, somewhere in there. And then we can kind of tune or adjust that as needed, but that gets us close. And then the dark L is not like oo or o, where we're doing a biquinho and getting kind of that vowel sound with where we put our tongue. But instead, it's usually more neutral lips, not doing a biquinho, and then the tongue, I like to think of it as almost like you're going to swallow your tongue, or like the tongue is pulling back, retracting, stretching backward towards your throat, and maybe downward or something, depending on how you do it. But there's probably some sort of feeling of kind of an energy or stretching backwards, pulling backwards of the entire tongue, or the back of the tongue, or the root of the tongue. Burl, curl, furl, and so on. Just checking in here on Insta too. Just a reminder, if you guys want live coaching today, just comment YT or YouTube if you're here on Instagram, or go to YouTube and search Simple American Accent, and you can join the live over on YouTube, where I've posted the Zoom link. And yeah, if you're Brazilian and you want American accent, you can join for some live accent coaching if that would be helpful. Scrolling through a little bit here. Cool. Okay, looking back over to YouTube now. So yeah, those are some quick tips for some important vowel contrasts and exploring this R plus L connection. And again, kind of quick call to action here. Since we don't have anyone in line for the Zoom call yet, I know we're doing a different call time today. This is an hour earlier than normal, but we've got at least 5 people watching live, it looks like, on YouTube right now. If any of you want some free accent coaching here, either you can just join the Zoom link, which I've posted in the YouTube chat, if you're open to, joining the Zoom and getting some live accent coaching, and other people being able to hear you and benefit from that. Or if you don't want to do that, you can also just type whatever questions you have in the YouTube chat, and I can try to answer your questions about accent, about pronunciation, about specific sounds or words, or how to train. And to show, some of you already know about this, but I will show some stuff briefly here. If you go to the link below the video, there's a couple links below the video, but one of them is to some free accent resources, where you can see there's a video I recorded. You can jump around to sections pretty easily in and see some accent training techniques that I find helpful for me personally and for some of my clients as well. And you can also go to more SAA, Simple American Accent resources, and see some other free resources. So like the live that we're on right now, and every week on Wednesday at 4 p.m., you can see a way to search some of my Instagram reels. So if you're struggling with something, I may have already made a video about it, and you can go and jump to that without having to, search through my Instagram content. You can search a little more efficiently. And there's some external resources, some things that I like to use personally, and again, with my clients. Explanation of what lexical sets are, which is a useful concept. So you don't just have to think about like short I, or using, IPA, or, phonetic alphabet, those symbols, or trying to write things with Portuguese letters or English letters, but instead we can kind of start to represent the sounds beyond the letters, no matter how they're spelled, in an interesting way. And you can explore those lexical sets here for the vowel sounds, see some example words, key contrasts, some practice phrases, some relevant Instagram reels, and similar idea for consonants. Asiel said, I can't join Zoom right now. No worries, but last lesson was great. I'm ordering a mic since it was a bit hard to understand during the call. Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. No worries at all. Yeah, we may just keep today short. I'm going to be hanging out with family in a bit anyway, but I wanted to at least try to keep the habit going of being on here every week. Kind of office hours, making myself available for people who do want help. And if this week no one needs much help, that's okay. We'll be back here next week. So I may just go ahead and wrap up early today. I do have a question or two over on Instagram, so I may try to address that. So the comment here I'm seeing in the Instagram chat says, when I say sit, hit, shit, etc. with the e fechado sound from Portuguese, my American girl or girlfriend maybe says it still sounds a little off. Why do you think this is? What is it that I'm missing? So if you join on YouTube, you can see my screen. I can try to show something here. My guess is that our target for the American sound is something like maybe that. And you might be doing a little more like. So if you can hear that difference, that's the difference that matters here. So it's like versus eh, or something like that. So if you're saying something like você, you might need to adjust it to instead of moving it to somewhere in there. These are subtle things, and I don't know for sure how you're actually saying these and like what your girlfriend's accent is, or you know how she's perceiving things. So there's a number of variables here that are hard to know for sure, but those are some thoughts for what might be happening. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up today early so I can go keep prepping for my family visiting me here. Just seeing if there's anything else. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up early then. And I guess, you know, we'll be here every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central, like usual. Today was an hour early, so probably caught some people off guard by being a different time. But then next week should be back to the 4 p.m. Central time. And if you want more help, again, there's links below the video. I make tons of free content. Try to do these free lives every week as well. And I've got this kind of free web app that I'm, you know, building over time that I use with my clients. There's a client version of it, but I'm giving you guys kind of a free version of it so you can still get some interesting resources there that I'm working on. And if you want to become a paid, you know, private one-on-one client, then there's a link for that below the YouTube video as well. Or if you're on Instagram, it's the link in my bio. And then there's the free resources in the Instagram highlights. So either way, you should be able to get some help. I'm here to help if I can. And hopefully see some of you next week on the live, and maybe as a client sometime. Who knows? Whatever makes sense for you. All right. Take care, guys. E tamo junto.